Okay, today we're going to do a quick demonstration on how to use grouping and alignment in InDesign. What I have here is a card that was previously designed by a student, and I think that it has a few alignment issues. Some of them I think simply because it's hard working with a copied image like this. And the other one is that I think having these center objects right aligned creates weird white space. You can see it falls into a sort of general C shape. So what we're going to do is work on the alignment and see if we can smooth out some of those issues. I have cheated a bit and already set up all the elements over here on my pasteboard, but that's just so I can demonstrate this one particular thing pretty quickly. Now, if in your workspace you don't already have the alignment menu over here available, you can simply do that by going to Window, Object and Layout, and just selecting it. Now I already have it over here in my workspace, so that's why it just popped up. But if it's not there, that's the quickest way to make sure that it is there. Now you can see that it presents lots of different options for alignment, and we're going to start working with those in just a second. If you don't want to keep popping this menu in and out, you can actually detach it from the other menus over there, and then it'll just stay open for the whole time. Now, like I said, I've already got all of my elements over here. We'll start with the business name. We'll move Tricky over here, and I've got a spade that's already hopefully sized to be about the right size to fit with our image. Now, I want to make sure that these two things are top aligned. So what I'll do is, I've got one selected. I can hold Shift and select the other one. Now you can see they're both selected. Another thing that you can do, and this is something I use quite a bit, is simply click down with your mouse and then drag it. You can see it forms a little box there. Over the objects you want to select, it will select all of them. The one thing you have to be careful of is sometimes you'll end up selecting something you don't want. You can see I grabbed some things extra over there. So you do have to make sure you only grab the things you really want. So I have the spade and the word tricky selected. I'm going to go over here to my alignment menu and click on the button for align top edges. Now you can see they were already really top aligned, so it didn't shift too much. Now what I want to do is, since I've got these things exactly the way that I want them to be, I'm going to group them. You can do that two ways. The quickest way is to right click and select group. Another way you can do that is to have your object selected and hit Command or Control G. Now they're also grouped. A third way you can do it is to go up here to Object and click Group. So that's three different ways, all of them pretty easy. I tend to be a right clicker, so that's what I do. Now, I also want to make sure that this is centered. So I'm going to slowly move it around, and you can see that pink line pops up. That's the InDesign Smart Guide that's going to tell me that I now have these two objects that are grouped centered in my layout. So I'll drop that right there. Now, I want business to also be aligned with this group right here. And the one thing that I accidentally changed is that I do need this to be the same width. So I'm going to just quickly make that 40 millimeters. Why? Because I have business 40 millimeters and I want them to form a perfect square on both sides. Now, the quickest way to get these things aligned is to just do align left edges. Now, I also want to move this up, so you can do that a variety of ways. You can use the mouse, click on it and just move it, or you can do your up and down arrows on your keyboard, which is what I'm doing right here. So we have Tricky Business. It's aligned left and right, and it's centered within the layout itself. Now, we want to put It's Magic over here too. We'll put it in about the space we want it vertically, and then we'll click one of these guys and again do align left edges. Now that's where we want it to be. Now, here's where things get a little bit more fun. We've got our spades. I've got some smaller spades up here that I created. I'm going to bring one over here and let the Smart Guide show me. If you see the green vertical line that popped up, that's showing me that these are left aligned now. And I'm going to drop it. Then I'm going to grab Card Tricks, bring it over here. Now I want this to be aligned top and bottom with the spade, but I want it to be right aligned with It's Magic. So you can see that the smart guides are helping me do all of that. If for whatever reason I messed it up and I didn't get it right, first I can right align Card Tricks and its magic. Then I can top align the spade and Card Tricks. So now you can see, again, everything's lined up. We'll do the same thing with Coin Tricks. We're going to pull it over here, make sure that it gets left aligned. And you can see that InDesign is trying to help out again by putting even vertical space between everything. That's fine, we'll let it help us. And then we'll grab our upside down spade and get it right aligned. Now the only thing is I want to make sure that it's definitely aligned with this. Yep, okay, so all that's worked out. Now with Sean's name over here, we're just going to drag it again. And you can see InDesign trying to be extremely helpful. As a side note, if you want to turn off those smart guides, go to View, Grids and Guides, and you can see that they have a check mark next to them. If you click them, it'll turn them off. Sometimes you want to do that because, to be honest, sometimes it tries to force you to put objects where you don't really want them to go. But I tend to think overall it's pretty helpful. So now we're going to left align Sean's name with everything else. And then, finally, we're going to work with the phone numbers down here. Now, you could alternatively center align Sean's name. I would do that by selecting his name, selecting business, and then going here to align horizontal centers. Now, the way that InDesign is supposed to work is whatever the second object is the one that the first object will align to. It doesn't always work that way. In this case, it did. And then what we'll do is we'll still left align the first phone number. So you can see where, I'll just do it this way so you can use the alignment menu. Bump it over. We're going to right align the second phone number. So click Align Right Edges. And then we want this final little spade to fall right smack in the middle. Now you can see if I use the pink guide, smart guide right there, it shows me where to put it. Now, just to make sure that the phone numbers and the spade all line up with each other, I'm going to draw my box to select them all, and then I'm going to click Align Vertical Centers. Everything's lined up. So that's it. Basically, if you have your alignment menu open, you can align anything you want. And the easiest way to make sure, for example, if you have several separate elements and you want to make sure they're aligned to a single element, is to group them. So you select them all, hit group, and then you can make sure that all of this stuff is aligned exactly the same way. And that's it. So you select them all, hit group, and then you can make sure that all of this stuff is aligned exactly the same way. And that's it.